Hello, welcome to possibly the best video I've ever made on the channel. I don't know, maybe I'm being dramatic, but I'm excited. It's a really good one. All right, buckle up, we're going for a ride. By the way, sorry about the noises, okay? I'm in Guadalajara, Mexico. There's trucks, I'm right near a busy road. There's construction, there's music, ambulances, dogs barking. You know the deal, you know the drill. This video is worth watching, I promise. All right, enough said. Let's get into it. The first thing I want to talk about is something that I see all the time in the comment section of my videos. It's an extremely common mistake and confusion because of other English teachers telling you that you can use get, the word get, instead of understand. I've talked about this briefly before in a video that I made in Spanish, but I really want to talk about this topic more completely this time and in English so that there's no confusion. And also because I got a lot of new students that don't know about this. So here's the truth. Get and understand are not interchangeable. You cannot just replace understand with get. It only works in very specific contexts. And honestly, it's difficult to explain, so I'm going to generalize and simplify it for you. In general, when we use get in the context of understanding, it's more about understanding the point of what somebody is saying, or understanding the point of something. For example, we use it a lot with jokes. Did you get the joke? It's like, did you understand the point of the joke? Did you understand why the joke is funny? Did you get it? No, I didn't get it. I didn't get the joke. When somebody says, I don't get what you're saying, I didn't get what you said, it's that they didn't understand the point. They didn't understand what you are really communicating, what you are saying. But here's the thing, and this is where I see all the mistakes in my comment section. When we talk about understanding a language, like for example, understanding the language that you're speaking, understanding the English that I'm speaking, the words that I'm saying. When we talk about understanding a language, we use understand. And if you use get, a lot of the time it's going to seem very strange and not like a native speaker. So this is the problem. I make videos talking in English and you guys want to tell me in the comments that you understand my English. You understand me talking. And so I see comments like, I got you completely. Thank you. Native speakers from the US probably wouldn't say that. I got you also has a whole different meaning that we use nowadays, especially in my generation. Nowadays, when somebody my age tells you, I got you, it's like, what kind of music do you like? Oh, I like rock music. Okay, I got you. And I put on rock music. It's like, okay, I'm going to do what will be good for you. It's a totally different meaning. If we want to say that we understand the language that you're speaking, we would just use understand. We would say, I understood everything you said. I understand your English perfectly. I understand your videos. I understand you when you talk. Here's another comment I saw. I got the class perfectly. That sounds like you bought the class or you obtained the class. That doesn't sound like you understood the class. See, this is the problem. Get has so many meanings. So if you don't use get exactly the way that native speakers use get, it's very ambiguous. It's not so clear what you mean. Obviously, because I'm an English teacher and I understand that there's this confusion, and based on the context, I understand what this person is trying to say. I understand that they're trying to say that they understood the class. They understood my English. But I'm trying to help you actually talk like native speakers so that you avoid confusion with other people and so that you can sound better in English. So in this case, it would be so much better to just say, I understood the class perfectly. I totally understood the class. Here's another example. Someone said that they sometimes use subtitles when the accent is hard to get. That is very strange. Native speakers wouldn't say that. We wouldn't say, your accent is hard to get. We would say, your accent is hard to understand. It's hard to understand your accent. Because accent is like part of language. It's a part of speaking a language. For example, if somebody starts speaking Japanese and I don't know Japanese, I'm not going to say, I don't get you, or I don't get what you're saying, or I didn't get that. Because that sounds like it means something else. I would say, sorry, I don't understand you because I don't know Japanese. I don't understand Japanese. Okay, so bottom line, what I want you to take away from this is, understand is a totally normal word to use. There is nothing formal or robotic about the word understand. I use understand all the time. It only has one meaning, basically. So it's very clear what you're trying to say. And it's used when we talk about understanding a language. And it's also used in any context where you want to use understand. The truth is that you don't actually need to use get. You could always use understand in every context, even when we're talking about the point of what you're saying. You know, I don't understand your point. You don't actually have to use get. Yes, native speakers use get to replace understand sometimes, but in very specific contexts, like I mentioned. And it's rarely used when we talk about understanding a language or an accent or pronunciation or anything that has to do with that, because get is more about understanding the point of what you're saying. So if you want to avoid mistakes, you could always use understand. But if you want to use get, I recommend paying attention to the ways that native speakers use get to replace understand when you consume content in English, when you watch and listen to content in English. See how they use it, and you can copy that. I think the problem is that so many of you have learned this not from content in English, but from videos of English teachers on the internet saying, you'll sound more like a native speaker if you use get instead of understand. That is extremely misleading, and it's false a lot of the time. It really depends on the context. All right, enough said. Next topic. So for this video, I just took screenshots of random comments that I saw on my videos where there are common mistakes. So I'm going to show you what someone said, and you can pause the video and guess what the mistake is, and then I will explain what it is. All right, the first one is amazing, Lau. I like so much this kind of videos. All right, what are the mistakes here? There are more than one. The first one is starting a sentence with is. That's not a question. You're probably only going to start a sentence with is if it's a question. Is it amazing? I don't know. Is it? If you're not asking a question, you're not going to start the sentence with is. You're going to start it with it or it's, because you can put it and is together. It's amazing, Lau. You can't have a sentence in English without a subject. You can't say is amazing. Is the verb, amazing is the adjective. Where's the subject? Where's the thing? It. It's amazing. Thank you very much. But also, it's amazing is very vague. This person just wrote that randomly. I don't know what they're trying to say. I don't know if they're trying to say that the class was amazing, the video is amazing, the topic of the video. I don't know. So it's better to be more specific and write a complete thought, right? Like, this video was amazing. This class is amazing. Something like that. The next mistake is, I like so much this kind of videos. Well, actually, there's two here. This kind of video. This kind of video. We don't say this kind of videos. We say this kind of video. Even though there are many, but you're just saying this kind of video, this type of video. And the other mistake is, I like so much. We don't say, I like so much. There are two ways that you're going to express that you really like something. Well, actually three if you include saying, I love. You can always say, I love this kind of video. But if you want to use like, you can say, I really like this kind of video. Or you can say, I like this kind of video a lot. I like this kind of video a lot. Personally, I think the best one is, I really like this kind of video. Super natural, super comfortable, super common, native speaker. I really like this kind of video. We use this form to express this all the time. I really like this. I really like it. I'm glad you like this kind of video. All right, the next one. Have you ever been in Colombia? Very common mistake. And I think there's confusion because been is from the verb to be. And so people are thinking about being in a place. And that's logical. But unfortunately, English is very strange here. And when we say, have you been, we're not really talking about being in a place. We're talking about having gone to a place. We're really saying, did you go to this place? It's about going to a place, not being in a place. I know that we are not using the verb go or gone, but that's the way we think about it. That's the way that we use it. That's the way that we mean it. We're going to say, have you been to Colombia? You can think of have you been as just like, have you gone? Have you gone to? It's the same thing, the same meaning, even though it's the verb to be and not the verb to go. So, have you ever been to Colombia? Yes, I have been to Colombia. I went to Medellin for about 3 months last year, And actually, it's funny that you're asking me because I am going back to Colombia in 2 days. But this time, I am going to Bogota. And I'm very excited because I've never been to Bogota. But I spent some time in the Andes when I lived in Ecuador. You know, I went to the capital of Ecuador. I went to Quito. I went to many cities in the Andes of Ecuador. So I'm familiar with this kind of place, but I've never been to the Andes in Colombia. And I'm excited to go back to Colombia in general. So to answer your question, yes, I've been to Colombia and I'm going back. All right, the next thing I want to talk about is not necessarily a mistake. It's like a personal preference, but it's my recommendation. As a 27-year-old native speaker from the United States who understands the culture and the way that we use English and the way that we have used English over the years. I see a lot of comments with people trying to make words shorter, like instead of saying you, they just write the letter U. Or instead of writing and, they just write the letter N. And I also always see people, instead of writing thank you or thanks, they try to make that shorter, like THX or something like that. I understand why people are doing this. I understand that they think that this is the way that native speakers use the language and it seems more like a native speaker, more natural, more advanced, whatever. Or it's cool, it's like internet text language. I don't know. But honestly, this is how we texted when it was 2007 and we had those phones that you had to text like this, you know, the flip up phones. And we were just discovering texting for the first time. And I mean, I was a kid. And it was harder to text then. So we created all these like short ways of texting. But nowadays we have the full keyboard with all the letters and texting isn't really like a new thing anymore. And I think that we have matured a bit. And so I currently don't know any native speakers who actually text like that. These things we've kind of stopped doing over the years. We don't do this anymore. And honestly, not only does it look like you're stuck in 2007, but it kind of looks childish. Of course, there are always going to be people that do it. Of course, there are native speakers that do it. And sometimes we do it to be like funny or cute, like kind of like a throwback, like vintage, you know, like this is how we used to do it. But in general, just texting, writing normally, we don't use this stuff very often. What you are going to see all the time, what native speakers do use all the time, are the abbreviations for entire phrases. Like instead of by the way, we write BTW. Or instead of to be honest, we write TBH. We love to abbreviate entire phrases. But it's not so common to shorten individual words unless that word is like really long or annoying. Like, for example, sometimes instead of though, I will write just THO, like though, like a short version, because the rest of the word is not even pronounced. It's like irrelevant. So yeah, we do that for certain words that are like long and ridiculous. But in general, we usually just abbreviate entire phrases. I write LOL all the time, which stands for laugh out loud. It's just my way of saying like, haha. There are many common abbreviations, but they're usually for entire phrases, not just one 3-letter word shortened to 1 letter, like you becoming you. That's like unnecessary. It's like you're doing too much. Like you're trying to be too much in the text slang. It's like just write normally. So once again, it's not a big deal if you write that way. We all understand it. It's not necessarily a mistake if you're just like texting, you know, it's okay. But if you want to seem more like an adult or more mature in English and more normal, I would just write you and stuff like that normally. Just write thank you. So that's just my advice because I see that a lot in my comments too. You know, I'm always keeping it real with you guys. I miss making these videos, talking about real English, talking about common mistakes. I'm always trying to give you my perspective as a native speaker who uses the language in real life situations and tells you how it really is. And I think that's about it. All right. So I'll see you in the next video. Bye-bye. When I say it like that, that comes from when native speakers talk on the phone in the States, like, yeah, bye-bye. It comes from that, like this, like, bye-bye. Not like bye-bye, but like bye-bye. Bye-bye. All right. Bye-bye.